Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that rule and teach world peace and salutations to the brothers and the four corners of this earth, pushing the soul in truth and in sincerity. But I'm not stuck here with another short video. Alright, so here we have an excerpt from X about more or less the South Korean stock market and what's currently its situation. Alright, and predictions that hey, this could be the end of this entire era of fiat currency, which means is the ushering in of what the digital. Alright, so like hold on, I'm gonna just turn off. Alright. So it says South Korean market is crashing so much that the government had to launch a suicide prevention hotline. K.O.S.P. crashed 20% over the last two trading days. Korean retail investors borrowed heavily on margin loans and single stock leveraged ETFs to chase this year's rally, and now that same leverage is wiping them out just as fast on the way down. SK Hynix's single stock leverage ETF crashed 32% today alone. Individual investors sold over 2 trillion won worth of shares in panic today. One is probably the Korean dollar, I'm not sure. Alright. Trying to get out before losses grew worse. Forced liquidations from these leverage bets have wiped out 2.3 trillion won over the past 2.5 months. Retail accounts getting automatically sold out once losses past what their loans could cover. That's exactly why the Financial Services Commission is now launching a nationwide debt counseling hotline in October, officially part of an economic crisis family suicide prevention plan. A direct response to the debt crisis this leverage created. KOSPI has now dropped from the world's 6th largest stock market to the 11th largest in just a month. 9 circuit breakers have hit this year alone out of only 15 in the exchange's entire 26-year history. The 2008 global financial crisis took KOSPI down 57%, but that happened in 371 days. The Fed rate hike and COVID crash took it down 44% over 784 days. This crash already hit 43% in just 40 days. Right, so that's 1 month, roughly a month, week and some. Right? It's a month and a half, roughly. A month and a quarter. Yeah. Right? That it took, 371 days, a year, 2 months and some days. Yeah, that's 700 and like 2 years some. Right? So there's the chart here. Right, and then that is person who commented or replied, it said, "You'll own nothing and be happy," type beat. Meaning, that is what Schwab said, "You'll own nothing and be happy." By 2020, they'll do this at every market, Dr. Axios. You know what I mean? Yeah, like 2030, so like, yeah, 2030. Or 2030 mark was a mark of the big plan, so it was 2020 plan. You know what I mean? I remember growing up, I always say about Vision 2020. Well, that was for Trinidad and Tobago. That was what we government called it. But now the elites had the Vision 2030. You know what I mean? It just goes to show that, hey, you know what I mean? Taking these kind of risks, these kind of chances, It's so serious that people will, you know what I mean, off themselves, delete themselves. You know what I mean? They gotta open my hotline because it's so traumatic, you know? 2 trillion gone in days. You know what I mean? In some days, that is a lot. That is a lot. That is a lot. That is a lot. You know what I mean? But that goes to show that what happen when you put you know what I mean, your feet and trust in something that thieves could break in and steal. Right? You know what I mean? Where is it? Why am I scrolling like a retard? Wait, it's let's play in a precept because I'm not sure when that precept is. Right? Yeah, I was in Matthew. Yeah, it was correct. Alright. Alright, Matthew 6 and 19. It says, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves don't break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So you put your faith, you put your you lay up treasures in this world. You know what I mean? And we know that this world and what it stands for in essence is what? Temporary. Essence of this world is temporary. Meaning it is not stable, it is not everlasting, perpetual. The proper word is not a perpetual thing. This kingdom, this world, wherever they push currently is not perpetual. Right? We know the kingdom to come. Right? That's why the scripture read, we have no continuing city here, but we seek one to come. Right? Because the city to come will continue. This city won't. This city meaning this rulership. You know what I mean? And the things that are allowed under this rulership, the things that are promoted, the things that are deemed good. Because the scripture speaks about saying, it say, woe unto you that put good for evil. You know what I mean? And evil for good. That put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Right? Things are all the things that the rulers of the system, the heads, the so-called how to put it, the kings, in other words, the 1%ers, the elites. These who would be deemed, you know what I mean, what they say goes, the bosses. They are the rulers of this world. Through 924. It is given into the hands of the wicked. Alright. So it being deemed, they deem it good when it is really evil. The things you eat, look at what it does to your body. Let's research something. It's simple. Let me go with something everybody have in the kitchen right now. And if not everybody, 99.9% of people have it in their household right now. Go in your kitchen, grab that bottle of oil, and read what it is. You know what I mean? And 99.9% of the ones who have the seed oils in the kitchen have been seeing videos on social media all over the place, been hearing, hey, this oil is horrible for your body. You know what I mean? Countless videos on that. And that is pushed by what? The leaders of this kingdom. So when you set up for yourself treasures in this kingdom, these will go happen. They had to set up a hotline, a suicide hotline. Because why? Men set up treasures for themselves here. Men try to make the just quote men who fell out of the truth. You know what I mean? This is so accurate. This is their kingdom. You know what I mean? The kingdom come according to them as they would wrongfully say. You know what I mean? We need kingdom, boy. Yeah, them and their kingdom. So what they do, they lay up treasures for themselves, and you see how they hurt. How they hurt right now. You see how they hurt. You know what I mean? But as men of the Lord, as watchmen, we're not even allowed to do that. You know what I mean? We are warned against, right? We are admonished against being a part of the system to the point that we reverence it by to a point that we could, so dare I say, worship it. Yeah, worship. For lack of a better word, because now it is worshiping, going along with it so blindly. You know what I mean? Being in tandem with it so much. You know, that's how we have to be in the scriptures and the precepts in the Lord, doing the will of Him. You know what I mean? You can't just be, you know what I mean, going through your life, being a man of the Lord, and then when then something happen, you know, you want to know why, and shit. Come on, man. Good up your fucking loins, man. This is now we home, this is now we rest. Things are supposed to be sweet over here for us. We serving a sentence. You know what I mean? That is why we're going through what we're going through. We come into the end of we sentence, we could all agree on that. But we are to endure till the end, by endure till the end. That's what the scripture says. He that endure till the end will I make a pillar. That's roughly paraphrasing. In the house of my power, etc., etc. You know what I mean? He that endure till the end. But most of y'all can't even fucking do that, bro. You're going probably all you're gonna live for yourself treasures in this kingdom, and y'all will end up deleting yourself. You know what I mean? There's a plague of the mind. Y'all get plagued on the fucking mind, thinking that the system was created for you to thrive, for you to flourish. You know what I mean? I was watching a video today. You know, not a video done by any of the brothers, just a regular video. As these bugged out Christian would say, a secular video, right? And the guy was like, niggas don't mind oppression. That is the word he used. Niggas don't mind oppression as long as it's comfortable. He said, one nigga go say, hey, master 18, 10 times, master only hit me 9. Yeah, I good with that. I taking that. You know what I mean? Hey, master only had working me 23 hours a day, not 24 no more. Master is so merciful. So he was talking about it like, dog, these motherfuckers will make all you do whatever they want as long as it feel good to you. As long as it's comfortable. You know what I mean? They'll literally spoon feed you all feces as long as it tastes good. But it's feces, you know it's feces, but it tastes good and it smells good. So you consume it. You know what I mean? Y'all deserve the punishment all you getting. Don't get me wrong, yo. I can't side with all you. I really can't side with all you. You know what I mean? To have our next precept. I come to mind. It's diverse temptation or diverse snares, right? Diverse temptations. Oh shit, man. Fuck. Oh, okay, alright. Let's see what I do. Shit. Come on, man. Says the rich fall. Okay, this is it, Salakia. First Timothy 6 and 9, it says, but they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. Right? I will read it over. It say, but they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction, buddy, and perdition. These niggas drowning in destruction, drowning in their own fucking demise, right? That the government, the only thing that the government could possibly do, because they can't get them back on fucking money, you know? Their whole economy is fucking wiped out. That's what they're saying. We can't even fucking pay all their back. We can't even assess all they're doomed. The most we could do is give all this money to fucking talk to. You dig? And this is what is awaiting anybody who rely on Egypt. Anybody who set the treasures up in this kingdom. Anybody who don't put the kingdom of heaven first, and you know what I mean, seek anybody who don't seek first the kingdom of heaven. Right? All they're doomed. All they're doomed. This is the reality of it. This is the reality of the situation. Right? So hey, I hope it was edifying. I hope it's back food for thought among the Akim one listening. To the spirit and power of your Hawa Ba Shem Yahweh Shai Ba Shem Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.